Hey, Panther fans, we're here with Coach Fuller. Talk about freshman and JV performance last week against our crosstown rivals at Grapevine. Coach, I'll turn it right over to you. Start out with the JV kids and talk about how they did.
JV went over to the stadium. We were on the road. Played 2 games against Grapevine. Our red team played first and had a great game. Really played well, moved the ball, did a good job on defense, and had a big victory. It was their first of the year and the first district win. So we're we talk it all the time. That team, our JV, both of our JV teams, that's about getting better and improving for the future. But if there's ever a game that you really want to win, it's the one against the guys you played with in middle school and went to elementary school with and so forth. But we're real proud of the effort that they gave, and they definitely wanted to win, and they got the victory. The black team did the same thing. I think they won. I think it ended up being 34-20. But it was pretty close late, and they pulled away, got another touchdown at the end. But all reports from that game, I was at the freshman game on our campus, but watching the film, we played a physical game, made some big plays, and just kept competing and hung in there and did a good job. So we're really proud of those guys. We're proud of the effort that they give in practice every day, giving us a look. Those guys don't get as much work on our own stuff after we get through with drills, because they've got to go simulate MacArthur's offense and defense, or they've got to simulate Grapevine's offense and defense, which they get better by doing. But sometimes it's a thankless job, in practice. But I just want to let them know that I appreciate it, and they're a huge part of what happens on Friday night. So we're proud of those guys.
How about on the freshman teams?
Freshmen were both at home. Our red team lost 24-21. It was a really close game. We had it was kind of up and down, back and forth, and we had a comeback attempt at the end, and just came up a little bit short. But I thought, after a slow start, we didn't really start off very well. I don't know what it was. Maybe they've been on the road for so long, they hadn't played a game at home in forever, since August. But we didn't start off our best, and played pretty well at the end. But they were disappointed, but that we don't have a choice but to go back to work and try to get better for the next one and beat MacArthur this week. Our black team game, started off not in a good way. There was a scare. Our quarterback went down. There was an interception, and he kind of got blindsided on a block and was on the field for a long time. And for strictly precautionary reasons, he was care flighted to Fort Worth. He had a little tingling in his legs and a concussion, not a horrible concussion, but ended up with a concussion. That delayed the game for probably 30, 45 minutes. And with social media, Twitter, mass text messaging, and all that kind of thing, the word going around in the stands and in the community, there were some things that were said that weren't exactly true. Kind of like in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a kid calls in sick, and by the time they get to lunch, there's a Save Ferris campaign. Not to make light of the injury, the young man was released from the hospital that night. He was up at school the next day taking his impact test, and he's going to have a full recovery. He won't play this week, but I just wanted to mention that was a pretty scary moment. Anytime you see a helicopter land on your football field, it's not a good thing. But I think the Grapevine players and the Grapevine fans were great about that. The two teams came together and prayed while they were working on the young man. And even in the second quarter, I looked over and on our sideline, and the cheerleaders were all wearing red and blue, and they were Grapevine cheerleaders. And I went up to one and said, "Hey, I don't mean to offend you. I'm just going to ask an obvious question. Why are you cheering on our side?" And she said, "Well, we're cheering for the Panthers for this half because of what happened to your quarterback. We just want y'all to know we support you." And I thought that was a pretty classy thing, and I thank their cheerleader sponsor, and that was a pretty neat deal. They did it for the first half, and then they went back to their side, and then it was just a normal football game after that. I think when we came back out, we were fired up for a little while, and then just the emotion of not knowing what happened to their friend, because nobody really knew for sure. And that kind of wore on them a little bit, and we got beat, but but not because we weren't competing and weren't trying. So we're gonna go to work this week and try to have a great week of practice and be prepared and get another win against MacArthur.
Good. Well, thank you, Coach, and let's get out and support the freshman and JV teams. Again, those guys put in long hours, and appreciate the turnout as well. Lots of football action on Thursday night to get everybody warmed up for Friday night. So get out and support those teams, even if your son may be playing at the varsity level. Thanks again to Witch. Thanks, Coach, for your time, and go Panthers. We'll see you guys Thursday and Friday.